I'm Matt McClure, and this is Currents. Heartfelt prayer from Brooklyn for victims in Haiti.
We have to rush and assist those who have suffered, those who have lost everything.
Did this Catholic blogger ever hear the call?
Well, if everybody who loved the church became a priest, we would be extinct after one generation because everyone would be celibate.
And forget about the movies, we'll meet a real-life exorcist. Good evening. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Francesca Maxime has the night off. Well, as relief efforts continue in Haiti, a judge says he's going to look further into the case of 10 American missionaries charged with attempted kidnapping there. That comes after reports that a legal advisor working with those missionaries is under investigation for human trafficking in El Salvador. Meanwhile, new estimates say rebuilding in Haiti following the massive earthquake could cost close to $14 billion. And as people continue to send money, they're also sending their prayers. Here in Brooklyn, Bishop Nicholas DiMarzio was the main celebrant at a memorial mass at the Basilica of Our Lady of Perpetual Help in Sunset Park, Brooklyn.
Tonight we come for this month's Minds Mass to remember all of those who were killed in the earthquake in Haiti last month, and we come now tonight to help our Haitian people to pray together and also to get the consolation they need from the Eucharist.
We come together to pray not only for the victims, but to pray as well for Haitians living here, experiencing this tragedy, because they're not there on the ground to care and to help the loved ones.
We want to thank them for the patience of everybody in this tragedy. It's been very difficult for people contacting, but we can't lose faith, and we can try to understand that this natural disaster of the earthquake is nothing to do with our faith.
We cannot blame God for evil, for natural disasters, nor for sin. Only the eyes of faith can help us understand the problem of human suffering and its redemptive quality when it is joined to the sufferings of Jesus Christ, who through his suffering redeemed the world.
The response of the church, the whole church of the United States, has been really fantastic. And the diocese, number one, the bishop immediately requested that TPS be granted to the Haitians. Number two, he is trying to get even more than TPS to facilitate and precipitate the granting of visas to people who are still in Haiti, a number of them those who will qualify.
To date, 162 parishes have made their response, and I am happy to announce that we have collected in our diocese $1,030,000, and there are 40 more parishes to come.
Much of this money goes to CRS, Catholic Relief Services, that are doing a tremendous job in Haiti. They are responsible for a site of 50,000 people.
Eventually, Bishop Sansarica and I will take a delegation there as soon as we can see our way clear to make sure that things are improved, that we can visit and make it useful.
It's a long term. First term, of course, we have to rush and assist those who have suffered, those who have lost everything. But number two, we have to really seriously consider the rebuilding of schools. So many Catholic schools, so many convents has collapsed. So that will be a continued effort. Also an effort of evangelization, because the spirits of the people also have to be rebuilt.
We do need support, we need comfort, we need a lot. We all gonna stand by to pray for Haiti more than we ever prayed before. So please, Haitian people, let's all stand up continuously, because I know you are strong. You guys are all together, and we need to be together.
Tonight we brought these candles here with deliberate action perhaps each one of them representing someone beloved who was lost. But they are light, and light dispels darkness. Light brings hope in the midst of darkness.
An emotional mass there at Our Lady of Perpetual Help. Well, stay tuned. There's more currents coming up straight ahead. When we return, major questions on Pius XII may soon be answered, courtesy of the Vatican. We'll have that, plus the rest of the day's headlines. Welcome back to Currents. I'm Matt McClure. Coming up later, we'll talk to someone who does not go to the gym to do some exercising. We'll explain, but first let's check the day's headlines. Irish bishops have been in Rome for 2 days for talks with Pope Benedict about the clergy sex abuse scandal in their home country. They wrapped up those talks today, as we hear from H2O News.
Abuse of minors by the clergy is a crime and a grave sin against God and the dignity of the human person. Benedict XVI stated this during the 2-day meeting with the Irish bishops, which was held in the Vatican to examine the situation in the Irish Church. In the statement issued at the end of the work, it was noted that the Pope asked the bishops to intervene in a precise manner to resolve this crisis with honesty and courage. Benedict XVI hopes that the meeting will serve to unite the voice of the bishops. The Pope noted that the overall general crisis of faith in the modern world impels the Church to a deeper reflection, in order to avoid any lack of respect for human dignity, particularly on the part of Church leaders, which adds to a lack of credibility in the institution. This requires a rigorousness in the preparation of candidates for the priesthood, as well as a profound theological reflection. The proposed pastoral letter of the Pope to the Church of Ireland was also mentioned.
Well, some secret World War II era documents from the Vatican won't be secret for too much longer. The Holy See has announced plans to publish 9,000 pages from that period of time online. Reports say it's an effort to reveal secret actions taken by Pope Pius XII during the Holocaust. Pius has come under fire recently after the Vatican moved him one step closer to sainthood. The critics of the Vatican's move say Pius did not do enough to save Jewish lives during the Holocaust. Supporters say these soon-to-be-released documents should shed light on what actually happened during World War II. Those archived documents will be available on the Vatican website. Well, it is raining purple, green, and gold in New Orleans today, and that's because it is Fat Tuesday. Mardi Gras festivities are in full swing. Crowds gathering this morning for the Zulu Parade and the chance for a prized golden coconut. What in the world am I still doing here in New York? Thousands are gathered in the city for the final day of parades and fun. It is the last big party in the Big Easy before the start of Lent, which of course is tomorrow. Now, speaking of Lent, a group of young adults in Manhattan will hold an event called 24 Hours of Confession this Lenten season. People from 51 parishes in Manhattan, the Bronx, Staten Island, and 3 surrounding counties will take part with around-the-clock confession on March 5th and 6th. The organizer says the event is meant to help point out that confession is about God's love and that the priest is there for everyone. Well, also during this Lent this year, churches around the world will be campaigning for safe water. The National Council of Churches and other groups have set up a website that is encouraging Christians to remember to pray for the millions of people who don't have access to clean water during the 40 days of Lent. The organizations say that dirty water is the root cause of 80% of the sickness in developing countries. And they say it's also the root cause of the deaths of 5,000 children each and every day. Well, as the Winter Olympics continue in Vancouver, one former U.S. speed skater says she has no regrets for giving up the sport. It's because she says she's answered a higher calling. Kristen Holm is now Sister Catherine, a member of the Franciscan Sisters of the Renewal. At the age of 17, she placed 6th in the 3,000 meters speed skating competition at the Winter Olympics in Nagano, Japan. She told Yahoo Sports that she loves skating, but she had an incredibly strong calling to serve God instead. Well, and finally, get your iPod out. I want you to check it, okay? You'll want to see if any of these songs from any of these albums are on it. Here we go. Michael Jackson's Thriller, Pink Floyd's The Dark Side of the Moon, the Beatles' Revolver, or Rumors by Fleetwood Mac? They there? Well, if not, the Vatican's newspaper, the Roman Observer, says they should be. The paper issued a list of 10 albums in what it calls a semi-serious guide to good music. The paper says the 10 albums are classics that you should pack for a desert island in case you're ever stranded there. You'll find the complete list over at our website. I've put them up at currentsny.net. Well, stay tuned. There's more Currents coming up straight ahead. Just ahead, a popular Catholic blogger shares his views on life.
God didn't make us to be miserable, to drag us into a call. He gave us the freedom to do good, and the best way we can do good, the best way we can be ourselves is to do what makes us happy.
Welcome back. Well, last week, you'll remember Lino Rulli introduced us to one of the most widely read Catholic bloggers in the world, Rocco Palmo. He's the creator of Whispers in the Loggia. Among other things, Rocco and Lino ended up talking about the church, blogging, the internet, and why all that matters. Well, tonight they conclude their conversation with a wide-ranging discussion that covers everything from baseball to the priesthood. Take a look.
All right, you know what everyone wants to know. Here's what everyone wants to know.
Yeah?
You're 26 years old. You're Italian, which means you look good in black. You got the...
I look better in black in the summertime, by the way. Now I just look like a ghost, but anyway.
You got the contacts. You know the people.
Yeah.
You're clearly Catholic. You know... Why aren't you a priest then? I mean, I know it's old-fashioned line of thinking, but that's the question. Why aren't you a priest then?
Well, again, first off, my girlfriend wouldn't like that. You know,
Maybe
I've really got the bent.
What? What happened? She clearly likes Italians with big noses. I'm just saying. I'm available. What happened? I'm too old?
What?
I'm just
yeah.
We're friends.
Sore subject,
It's
okay?
interchangeable, that's all I'm saying.
You find your vocation, and this is, I guess, you know, I see what I do as a vocation not just to the church, but also something that is fulfilling for me. For the first 10 years, I thought I was going to be a priest. That's in this part of the world, in the Northeast, you love the church, you have to be a priest. Well, if everybody who loved the church became a priest, we would be extinct after one generation because everyone would be celibate. So unless there was some funny business going on, you know, we would have no church left, and we would wipe ourselves out. And plus, you know, being Italian, I can be stubborn and bad with obedience. So, you know, let's not forget that.
Don't tell your girlfriend.
Yeah, well, hey.
Bad with obedience. I'm just putting it out there.
But anyway, you have to be who you are. You have to, you know, I mean, kind of. I believe in the saying, if it feels good, do it. I think that's something that I think that's something. And again, obviously, it's seen in a sense of.
I never hear that enough.
But I think it's God didn't make us to be miserable, to drag us into a call. He gave us the freedom to do good, and the best way we can do good, the best way we can be ourselves, is to do what makes us happy. So again, you know, yes, I'm not saying, you know, again, go out and kind of, you know, have orgies all the time or anything like that, or you know, drink yourself into oblivion. Don't, you know, be like Office Space. Don't show up for work, whatever. But you know, if it, where you feel fulfilled, where you feel happy, you know, each of us knows what the right thing is, what the good thing is. For each of us, there's many ways of doing that, as there are the number of us. It's like hitting the sweet spot on a baseball. You know, I'm longing for spring training, forgive me, but you know, when you hit that spot, there's no you get no resistance out of the bat, you know, and your hands don't kill you for 10 minutes. And it's just, and that's the thing for each of us. For me, it happened to be writing. For you, thank God, was radio, and one day being Dave Letterman's
TV.
assistant.
Well,
radio and TV. Well, okay, king of all media. Okay.
I'm not saying that. I'm just pointing out. I don't know if you know.
Let's not forget that at the private parts premiere, Howard pulled out a Pope mobile. So is that the moment you really felt for Howard?
We'll leave it on that note there, Rocco. All right, man. Cheers to Whispers in the Loggia.
Thank you.
And the church.
Which is all of us.
Well, Rocco Palmo and, of course, Lino Rulli. And if you visit our website, currentsny.net, you can find out more about Catholic blogging, and you'll have a link there to Rocco's own blog, Whispers in the Loggia. Over 5 years, it's garnered over 12 million visitors, and that is still growing. Well, if you missed any of that conversation, by the way, with Lino and Rocco, you don't want to miss it, so check it out. It's all archived right there on our website as well. Stay tuned. There's more Currents coming up straight ahead. When we return, advice about avoiding sin from someone who knows a lot about it, an exorcist.
We live in a culture that's not even going to acknowledge that the devil is real, that there's an entity of evil.
Well, tonight, millions around the world are getting ready for Lent, which starts tomorrow, Ash Wednesday. It's a good time to take stock and take a hard look at how we can all live a better life. And that brings us to our final story tonight about a man who spent much of his career sizing up the good, the bad, and the ugly, especially those last two. Few people understand the nature of good and evil better than he does. That's because he's an exorcist. You heard me right, he's an exorcist. Recently, he visited a local church to talk about his experiences and to shed a little light on some very dark and very mysterious corners of life.
There's many people who need deliverance from things that are really upsetting their life, and they don't know where it's coming from.
Lay people can only pray for freedom for deliverance. In other words, they can pray to God so that God can protect them from evil.
When a physical manifestation occurs, like say for a person puffs up a hairball, do you think that that is a means to distract you, to stop you from praying?
We live in a culture that's not even going to acknowledge that the devil is real, that there's an entity of evil.
After a certain moment, I realized that I had to talk. Not just pray, but also talk to people about the power of the dark side, so that people could stay away from danger. And also, so they have more reasons to believe. So this is the reason I've come to have this talk. Talking about it is as important as praying.
The occult is very real, and many people get involved in the occult. So I think it's important for leaders to understand and know, how does a person become possessed, if that's the word?
It's normal for people to experience moments of gluttony or lust, but it is not normal for them to enter a church and feel ill or nauseous. This entire field of the unordinary is the field in which specialized priests work regarding this exorcism issue.
What is your daughter's middle name, Mrs. McNeil?
Teresa.
Everyone asks me about the movie The Exorcist, and I always mention that the depiction of the ritual and the role of the priest is well represented. It provides an idea of what the ritual is like, a priest praying with a book. But the part regarding the possessed is like a catalog of what can occur in hundreds of exorcisms. I'm not saying the part in the movie regarding the possession can't happen, but it is not the norm. What's normal is only screams, agitation, fury, that must be restrained, he who is demonized. But the paranormal events are very rare. Hundreds of exorcisms are necessary to see something that is absolutely inexplicable.
As Catholics, we need to be equipped. We need to be equipped to lead a holy life, the life that God calls us to lead, and we need to know how to deal with our adversary.
People are very worried about the devil's actions, but what they should be concerned about is not falling into temptation. Temptation is the ordinary action of the devil. People should not fear the devil, they should fear sin, and sin is something we do.
Everybody sing hallelujah, everybody praise his name, everybody sing hallelujah, praise his name today. Hallelujah!
Well, that'll do it for this edition of Currents. Now, tomorrow we'll visit a local church making its own ashes for Ash Wednesday. And we'll talk with some people about why that mark on the forehead means so much. We'll have all that and more coming up tomorrow. But in the meantime, remember, you don't need a TV to catch Currents. You can always catch us online. The website, once again, is currentsny.net. And you can also follow us on Twitter and become a fan of ours on Facebook as well. All the information and links are there at currentsny.net. For Francesca Maxime and all of us here at Currents, I'm Matt McClure. Have a great night.